Amanda Cove, thank you so much for doing this. I know your time is so valuable, especially during this COVID-19 crisis. Hey, I want to ask you first about this transformation picture. So on the left is you in 2007. On the right is you on stage at the Arnold Amateur last month. When you're looking at that picture, Amanda, what goes through your mind?
Oh my gosh, just a whirlwind of thoughts, really. It's just been, I've come a long way. I decided to change my life. It was probably 3 years ago that I decided to, of course, really I'll start in 2007. I didn't really have any goals or ambitions. I was kind of going out all the time. I didn't care about my diet. I wasn't working out. Well, it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I decided to start lifting, and I didn't have a clue at all what I was doing. I had really just a set of dumbbells at my house, like a pair of 20s and a pair of 15s. And so for an entire year, that's all I did. And I watched YouTube videos, and that's just, and then eventually I gained the courage to go to a gym in 2018. Still didn't really know what I was doing. And then in 2019, in March, was when I hired a trainer, which was the best decision of my life. And that's when, my whole life changed. So, it took a year really for everything to change. We decided to do the Arnold. I think I have the best trainer in the entire world. His name is Scott Burnett. He's wonderful. He took me from not knowing anything to, you can see the picture at the Arnold. That was my first show I've ever done. And, I stepped on stage. I wasn't nervous at all. I got first call outs. And of course, I wanted to do better than I did, but it was wonderful. I feel like I'm on top of the world. I'm 35 years old and I'm in the best shape of my life right now. So, I love it. I love bodybuilding. I wouldn't be doing anything else right now.
How did you guys decide to jump into the wellness division?
Well, I will say originally I was going to do figure. I had my heart set on figure. In fact, when he brought it up, I was so upset because I thought I was built for figure. And he kept saying, listen, I think you've got the genetics for wellness. Just think about it. So it wasn't until November, he kept saying, just look at the pictures. I think it's for you. And it was 14 weeks out from the Arnold. And so I thought, well, because I was going to do the Dallas Europa in June. And I just, my cat's getting on my back. And, but, he just, and he is my biggest cheerleader, my trainer, Scott. And I just thought, he hasn't steered me wrong at all. And my cat really is attacking my computer. But I trusted him 1,000%, and it was the best decision ever. And so I loved it. I love wellness. He was right. My genetics are for wellness, and I love it. I love the division, and I think, I think that's for me. I think I'm going to continue with it.
Did Mr. Scott do a good job keeping you calm in Columbus last month?
He did, because, and I don't know if a lot of people don't know, that's kind of when the, the virus scare kind of started. And so we were going to go to the expo. And of course, right when we got there on Monday morning, they let us know that the expo was canceled. And we were just, because I've never been, he's never been. And so we found out it was canceled. Well, then the day before check-in, they let us know that they didn't know if the amateurs were going to compete. And so he was just so great about keeping me calm. Don't get stressed. It's going to be okay. So the day of check-in, they said, we will let you guys know what's going on. I was, of course, just in tears, and he kept saying, it's going to be okay. It'll be fine. Don't worry. But yes, he was great at keeping me from freaking out. And of course, it turned out to be okay. They didn't let spectators in, but they let us compete, and that's, that was the most important thing.
Did you get to see Mr. Schwarzenegger at all?
No, unfortunately, I did not. He showed up for the pro show, but not for the amateur show. And, that's okay. There's always another chance to see him. So,
What do your kids think about you being so fit?
they love it. Aside from Scott, they were my biggest cheerleaders. They were always there to take progress pictures for me. They thought it was hilarious when I was walking around the house in my heels posing. And, anytime I needed to go to the gym, they were 1,000%, supportive. They would help me with meal prep, even though they don't like fish. They were here to help me, sort it out. But yeah, they were wonderful.
So at the Arnold Amateur last month, I believe you were in first call out. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, it was a big class too. Posing in that first call out, you hear your name, you get to hop in there in that first group in the class. What was that like?
It went by so fast. I thought I was going to be a nervous wreck, but once we got out there, and all the girls were so nice and so sweet that, they were all kind of going through the same thing, and we were just, chatting backstage, and we were just running through so fast that I didn't even realize that it was first call outs, because again, it was my first show. I just did what I was told, go here, come out here, quarter turn. And then when we went backstage and I was talking to Scott on the phone, he's like, you were in first call outs. And I was like, oh, is that what that was? So, I was thrilled. And so, it was just an amazing feeling. It was a rush. Of course, I'm addicted now. I can't wait to do another show. And I think that's kind of what everyone goes through after you do a show. You can't wait to do another one. But I love it. It was wonderful. It was a great experience.
You still thinking about doing the Dallas Europa?
Well, of course, with everything going on, no one knows when any shows are going to happen. So I'm just kind of, waiting, working on my, really focusing on my diet and my training. Of course, working out from home is a challenge, but I'm not planning anything until all of this is over, because I don't want to be in limbo. It's kind of hard to say I'm going to do this show when you don't know when it's going to be. But yes, I do plan on a show. I just don't know which one.
Are you still trying to get the workouts in? I assume all the gyms where you are closed?
Yes, they're all closed. However, I still work out 5 days a week. I'm still doing cardio 5 days a week. I'm still sticking to my diet, very strict. I haven't, Scott keeps me on a very good diet. I'm not straying from that. I want to stay as close to my, not contest weight, but, within 5 or 6 pounds. So whenever I am ready to do a show, I'm right there. I just feel like that's the best way to go for me personally.
A lot of people, they've never experienced gains on their body. What is that like, seeing gains really everywhere?
As far as after the show or just in general?
In general.
It's different. It brings on a lot of emotions. Because when I first started, I put on within a year about 20 pounds. And at first you kind of experience shock for a woman. Men, that's what they look for. For a woman, it's like, oh my goodness gracious, I'm putting on all this weight. But then when you start to see, for me personally, I loved it. I loved the strong feeling. I got, just more confidence. I've always been competitive. I've always been into sports. So for me, it was just empowering. I love it. I'm hooked. I love being strong. The feeling of it. It brings on a lot of confidence for me.
How did you perfect the posing for wellness?
First off, I was watching YouTube videos 24/7, just constantly. My kids, it was driving my kids nuts, I tell you. I mean, they're saved all on my phone. And then I had a posing coach that Scott, my trainer, referred me to. She's here in Oklahoma City because Scott, my trainer, is actually in Tulsa. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the area. He's in Tulsa and she's here. Her name is Gina Davis, and she was wonderful. So I went to her a couple times a week, and she helped me out with the posing. So yeah, it worked out really well. And I felt like, of course, you know, there are things I always need to improve on, but the posing she was great. And she did the same thing. Sorry, my cat's up here again. Cause she had, you know, and wellness is so new that, you know, I still think even the NPC and the IFBB is learning what they want with posing. But she was wonderful to work with.
What do you think it's going to take to get a pro card?
Just as far as next time, you know, I'll work harder on my diet. Of course, I stuck really, really hard to my diet. And I'll know more because it was my first show. I'll know more, you know, as far as posing. I think I could have tweaked it myself a little bit better. Just more confidence on stage. I think I lacked a little bit of confidence on stage. But that's the ultimate goal. I'm not going to stop until I get my pro card, and then I'm not going to stop after that. So that's what I want.
Some people, especially during this coronavirus pandemic, they're struggling to eat clean and work out. Any advice for those people?
Well, you know, I've actually found that for me, it's almost easier. I wouldn't say easier because I was always good about sticking to my routine, but you know, I just go to the store and it's funny because all of the junk food is sold out right now. But if you notice all of the fish, there's all of the fish you could possibly want. So, you know, I'm eating fish 5 times a day right now. You know, and I might have chicken once a day or lean ground beef once a day, but I don't see it as a struggle at all. You know, I'm eating fish and broccoli or fish and spinach. I'm getting my workouts in because I'm working from home right now because I'm a realtor and a property manager. But no, I don't find it a struggle. I still hit my workouts because, you know, a lot of people are struggling with boredom. Well, I noticed, you know, my workouts are helping with my energy. And then I hit my cardio later on. And then I'm meal prepping in between, you know, my work. You know, I would just say it helps with your routine. And it's definitely helping with my energy level and to help not, you know, get bored and depressed when I'm at home. So it's just one of those things. It's a lifestyle and you have to stick to it.
That's perfect. It's a lifestyle. Well,
yes.
Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And you're an inspiration. It's really cool to see your pictures, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you in the future.
Of course, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.